October 24th, 1348, Avignon, France. My name is Pierre Dulac, and I am a plague doctor. Today I woke up before sunrise, while the dying moans of the sick beyond the city walls had yet to fade. A thick autumn fog hung outside, mixing with the stench of death that had long clung to my clothes. I put on my wax-coated cloak, pulled on my leather gloves, and adjusted my beaked mask filled with herbs. At the market, bodies were once again being burned, and thick smoke covered the streets, forcing passers-by to cover their faces with rags. My first stop was the monastery of St. Lazarus, where monks were dying, men who had refused to give last rites to the afflicted just yesterday. I examined their bodies. Black, festering boils covered their skin, and their breathing was labored like hot iron scorching their lungs. Taking my staff, I marked the doors of the cells with red cloth, those where life still lingered, though not for long. 2 gravediggers waited outside the monastery, and I ordered them to take the dead to the mass grave beyond the city. Next, I headed to the burgomaster's house, where his wife had been writhing in fever for the 3rd day. She had lost her mind trying to bite me, so I was forced to tie her hands and feet. Her husband begged me to save her, but I knew there was no cure, and she had at most 4 days left to live. All I could do was cauterize the sores with a hot iron and give her a drink of garlic and vinegar. As I left the house, I heard the burgomaster fall to his knees and begin to pray, hoping for a miracle. I went to the town hall to collect my pay, which amounted to 100 florins per year. In the dimly lit hall, the city treasurer tossed me a purse filled with florins mixed with copper. Outside, I noticed the guards dumping bodies into a ditch behind the town hall, as there were no longer enough graves to bury them. In the evening, I was summoned to the hospital of St. Anthony, where there was no space left for the dying. The beds were full, people lay on the floor, and some were already dead, though they had still been breathing earlier that day. The monks handed out herbal brews that did not cure but merely gave the illusion of care. I ordered the bodies to be removed, but each time it seemed space had been cleared, more sick were brought in. At the hospital's exit, a man awaited me, clutching his dead son and begging me to bring him back to life. His eyes burned with despair, and I found no words to offer him. As the sun set, I returned home, undressed, burned my gloves, and washed my hands with vinegar. By candlelight, I recorded the names of those who had died today, though most had not even been given Christian names. I no longer smelled death, for it had become a part of me. But what terrified me most was that I was beginning to grow accustomed to it. In 1348, approximately 25 million people perished from the plague in Europe, nearly 1/3 of the continent's population.